You're a homeschooling parent, but life is busy or kids have been sick, but you really need to do something that still counts for school for the day. Grab you a cup of coffee, and today we're going to talk about what does and doesn't count for homeschooling. Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm in the office, and yes, I'm wearing a hoodie because fall in East Tennessee is weird. It's too warm to put the air conditioners up, but too cold to get the heaters out yet. So, long sleeve in the morning and air conditioners in the afternoon, but sometimes it be that way. Speaking of rolling with things, let's talk about today's video. So this was what I was supposed to be talking about at our homeschool fellowship 2 days ago, but I had kids who were sick. I kept praying over it, and God was like, well, why don't you just talk about it in the video, which you were going to discuss anyways, then you can share it with the group and with the people who watch you on YouTube. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to discuss 3 things that do and do not count as homeschooling whenever you just need something to do that says, I did school today, but your kids are either too sick or you're too tired or y'all are busy and you're just trying to find something that will count. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about 3 different topics, and we're going to have the do's and the don'ts. Topic number 1 for today is watching TV. This is a very interesting one, and I think honestly this one has had more options over the years. So I made a list of do's and don'ts for TV time when it comes to whenever you're doing homeschooling during the day. So our general, and everything I'm discussing, this is just my personal opinion, my experience from 15 years of homeschooling. This is just my personal opinion, my personal experience, but take it as you will from that. Things that I have learned with my kids is, number one of the things that we will do on days when we are doing school, and when we're doing what not a school or unschooling or things like that, is we have time limits. So our time limit is 3 o'clock because it works with my husband's schedule. And also, honestly, by the time it's 3 o'clock, the kids are either done with school for the day or they are just done for the day. If you know, you know. 3 o'clock is our time limit. So up till 3 o'clock, what do we do? After 3 o'clock, they can have whatever. They can have their Switches. They can watch Disney Plus and binge watch some of their favorite 90s sitcoms. Or right now, one of their favorites is Phineas and Ferb. On the do's list, what does count for homeschooling with TV if you just need to put one on? And honestly, I've had days where I just had a migraine. I just needed them to sit and watch something all through the different ages. Mostly I'm focused more on teenagers now, but this also works for younger kids. Do's for TV time. Number 1 is nature documentaries. And there are absolutely so many more nature documentaries provided now. And honestly, we've seen more of a shift as Christian parenting as well, of less documentaries that are just really shoving evolution down your throat every second they get. Which has been a nice change that we have seen over the past couple of years. But obviously, you may want to preview through and find some that you trust and that you rely on. But Disney Plus now comes with Nat Geo, so there are times that we will just pull up nature documentaries. One of my teens' favorite right now is there are several on Disney Plus that are shark documentaries. 2 of them were filmed by the original cast of the Avengers. Well, about the second movie of Avengers, because one of them is the Falcon. You could watch shark documentaries. There's also ones on there for polar bears, squirrels. There's one for just animals in China. Preview through ones that you want ahead of time, and then they can go back and watch those on days where you just don't feel like it, or your kids just don't feel like it, and you just need something for them to watch. Number 2 for TV time is historical documentaries. Again, you definitely, for historical ones, I have learned over the years, you want to preview them first. If they're not rated for younger kids, you may want to preview them. There was one time we went to watch a historical documentary on the terracotta warriors, and it started talking about emperors and how they procreated, and it was okay, let's turn that off now. So there are some times that they talk about things like unaliving and procreation and things that you may not want your kids to learn at certain ages. So definitely preview some of them at first. But Once you find one that works, go with it. Make a list of ones that you do. I do have lists. Eventually I'm going to get those PDFs out to you guys. I'm just struggling to find a website to work with that'll let me do the PDFs and not be like a massive drain on our budget. But I have PDFs of like movies that our family loves and watches for like those days when we just need a movie to watch. Number 3 on that list is movies based on literature. If you are new to our videos, hi, I'm Alicia. I've been homeschooling for 15 years and graduated my oldest 2 last year. One of them from preschool to graduation, and one of them was adopted. And during those 15 years and over the time we've been here on YouTube, we actually have an entire series on our channel. If you Google out This Homeschooling Adventure, Movies is Literature, it's an entire series on how we teach high school literature, just using movies based on literature, and how we turn those into reports about the movies and the books, and how we use those for advanced placement for dyslexic, and how we use that to teach literature from 8th grade to high school graduation. But there are several movies out there that are based on books. You can also do some that are based on graphic novels. Another one that we found recently, this is a bonus one, is we actually found recently at a thrift store for $1 the original National Treasure DVD. And we found that the original National Treasure DVD actually has some bonus features on there where you actually have to solve puzzles to unlock a secret way to watch the movie. And I'm not going to tell you all how to do that, but if you have that DVD, go for it. Like, look for things like that as well. One of the things I love about National Treasure is it's kind of a mix of fiction, but it also has some historical basis and historical locations that they talk about in the movie. So that's the do's for TV. The don'ts. Obviously, I think some of you are going to know where this is going to go. Don'ts for TV is not they're going to be streaming animated shows all day. There are some things that borderline that topic. So like, I actually am really looking forward to, I have a new series of ones that my kids are not going to be doing, but I thought about making a series of ideas for movies as literature. And I have one that I want to do, and it's based on an animated, and it doesn't have a book that was made before the TV series came out. It was made after. But like, so like sometimes you kind of have to figure out the fuzzy room here with the do and don't on that. But like so technically Marvel and DC movies are based on graphic novels. So technically that's literature to go with it. Broadway shows are screenplays. The movies based on Disney park rides are based on a screenplay that was written out before the ride was finished of like what all has to go into this ride. What is the music score? What is this? So like there's that fuzzy area there. Some ones that are absolute definite do not count for school for us is like animated series. Like I said, Phineas and Ferb. Yes, they do cover like somewhat cover physics and things like that, but I don't count it as that because they're not watching it to learn anything, and they're not really going to get anything other than a good laugh out of it. Sitcoms like Sweet Life, Jessie, Bunked, like ones like that. We have mostly Disney Plus, ones like that. Let me think. We also have Peacock because it came through with our internet. Kung Fu Panda, I don't count, and unless we're actually watching it and trying to like cover actual historical things on there. We've done that before. That one doesn't count. Like, do count. I have had them watch Mulan before and cover like historical accuracy versus inaccuracy. But that was part of world history, which that's a whole nother video as well. But like, if they're just watching it for fun and unless you're really stretching it and you're giving them a written assignment to go with, honestly, that doesn't really count. You have so many other good options that do count. Number 2 is cooking and baking. There are so many days that, especially in the fall and winter, we just will take a whole day off, pull out a bunch of recipes, ingredients, especially with having one gluten-free and one lactose intolerant. It has become interesting to like look at recipes. How do we change it? How do we do this? Let's double the recipe. Let's look at the measurements on it. Cooking and baking together is a great way to implement school, but also have fun while you're doing it. And it also benefits your family. Bonus points if you are baking for other people, because then you're teaching your children community service and putting others before themselves. And teaching compassion, and those are things that I think this world needs a little more of sometimes. So like bonus points if you're also cooking and baking for other people as well. You're also covering like food safety, talking about like personal care in there as well. Like you can add health, it's math, you're teaching measurements and duplicating. You're also teaching science of if they oversalt it, you can do this. If they oversweeten it, you can do this. If it's too acidic, you do this. And that kind of adds some of the chemical mix back into your baking as well. So that's the do's. Like that's pretty easy. Like baking and cooking in our house has always been an option for a day at home of doing school, because like I said, there's so much math, there's science, there's reading, there's teamwork, building skills, there's all those things together. What doesn't count if you're cooking and baking and your kids are playing on their Switch, we'll get to that in a minute, and they're not actively participating, it doesn't really count. So like a day of just you baking doesn't really count. Now, I've had times where our kids have watched other people be baking and they're learning new skills, but they can't really be hands-on yet. They have to watch and learn first. Either A, they have to be able to replicate what they just saw somebody else do. Like somebody would be like, this is how you make this shape of this cookie. They either then have to replicate it themselves, or they have to take notes and hand write down the recipe before they can participate in it. There have been times that when cooking for people with food allergies, I don't let my kids hands on with it, especially when they were younger. Now that they're a little bit older, that's a little bit less of a problem, but when they were younger, there were times that I had them just stand back and watch. What I would have them do for participation then is they would stand back and have to hand write out the recipe, or I'm literally teaching them through it, and then they have to repeat the steps back to me, and then later we would work on it together. Now that they're older and two of them have the food allergies, it's a lot easier, and I also have food allergies as well. It's a lot easier to like explain to them certain processes and procedures. Item number 3, and this is the one that throws some people off, is I count games and video games. Don't click off that video yet. Let me explain. There are some things that I think you should count when your kids are playing video games for school. Look at all the websites now that are education based. There are so many more websites that are switching to when younger kids are doing school, like homeschool, school supplement. They're doing way more and more websites that are video games, because they're finding that kids are learning better from the video games than they are sitting down and listening to a lecture. Kids don't want to sit down and listen to a lecture. They want to be hands-on. Video games sometimes help to implement that hands-on process at an affordable cost of buying a one-time video game or doing it through their school's website. It's much easier to teach some kids hands-on things, especially like if kids have high anxiety issues, motor skills issues. Video games can help with that. Now, there is a limit on that, so let's talk about that. Video games that I almost always count for school. Number 1, Minecraft. Our whole family has Minecraft accounts. My husband and I use it for downtime. We will use it to like, it's our way of like getting out like the creative aspect, especially like when we're sick, when we get snowed in, whenever our budget is low and we just don't have the money to travel. It's nice to just be able to sit down and create something in Minecraft and go and mine these things out and gather these resources and turn them into a really cool project. And then we sit and watch other people do it too, so that we can learn some new skills and grow that way. And like, we love doing that. So like, I will count Minecraft as it. Bonus points are Minecraft has mods, which is where a game is changed to add more implements to it than what it was originally coded to be able to do. So some of the mods that we love in Minecraft is there's one on there that teaches Spanish. You literally have to go through a house and click specific things and learn how to read and say things in Spanish to be able to play the game right. There is a second mod on there, at least that I know of, where they partnered with like BBC and made one about the Arctic, and then like every now and then they change it up and do different ones, but like you actually have to become like in one aspect you're a bee and you have to fly from one flower to another, or you're a polar bear and you're racing and jumping across glaciers. There's different ones on there where like you're actually learning how to do things. And I'm fine letting the kids, even if they're not using those mods, I'm fine with the kids going into creative mode and learning how to build things. Honestly, most of the time when they're doing Minecraft, I almost count it as geometry sometimes, because like they have to, if they're going to build a house, they have to know dimensions and counting it out and resource gathering. And even if they're using creative mode, they still have to know how to do those individual dimensions and things and perspective on how to build that out. Number 2 on there is board games. Most. And I am extremely picky about buying board games for my kids, but most board games I would count on there. Clue is problem solving and also somewhat teamwork skill, and it's critical thinking skills. Scrabble, that's literature, that's spelling, that's also somewhat of a teamwork skill because you have to learn how to place it with other people as well, and also learn to get along in a group setting. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones offhand that we have. Uno. I actually really like Uno as well because it's a pretty easy grab and go game. Battleship is a skills game. Most of our board games that we have, if it has like critical thinking skills, teamwork, bonus points if it's literature, historical, like sometimes we'll print bingo cards for like specific historical ones. Like we have one for Revolutionary War. We have a bingo card for that. We also have like tic-tac-toe games from that was sent to us from Live Alaska. So like we have like hands-on games like that. Some of the other things that we would use for that, this is not a board game, but another one like just a freebie here, Play-Doh. I have one of my teens actually uses Play-Doh. Like when she's watching a seminar online for one of her classes, she uses Play-Doh and makes different shapes and things. It gives her hand something to fidget with and helps her to focus more on what she's hearing and looking online so that she can remember it better. And she does really well with like her test scores and stuff. So like Play-Doh is a great hands-on one as well. It also gives, like I said, it gives her something to do with her hands where she's still focused on it. There are other video games that I would borderline consider for school. Like ones that I'm okay with is like Tetris. I think Tetris is a great one because you have to figure out how to put some puzzle things together. There have been a couple of times that Fetch currently has like where you can play video games and earn Fetch points for it. And sometimes I will let one of mine use my phone and play some Fetch games on there. There's some coloring ones on there. I count coloring as school because it's hand-eye coordination. And also for that one, it's like you really have to search and look for tiny details on the coloring games that you earn Fetch points on. There's also some where you like have to like disassemble stuff, like removing specific colors of screws, and that's like a critical thinking too, because like if you fill all the slots up, then you're stuck, and then you either have to start over or watch an ad to move on. So like you really have to critical skill like exactly what you're doing. So there are some games like that. Now if it's a game like, okay, so this might hurt some people's feelings. If it's just like Mario Kart and all they're doing is racing, or like a racing game and stuff like that, I wouldn't really count that one. Yes, you're still working on hand-eye coordination, and if your child is struggling with that, okay, great. But mostly when I'm looking at counting video games for educational time, I want something that's going to improve their critical thinking skills. Yes, on hand-eye coordination, but I also want them to be learning something at the same time. Like I said, with Minecraft, I'm a little more okay with that because, and also like with Minecraft with our kids, because we have the family link connected together, they can join each other's worlds, in closed servers where it's just them. They learn to build together. Like sometimes, one of mine will take like the woodland mansion and she will change it up for the holidays, and she'll change like all the wood types out and make it like an Easter house or a Christmas house or a Thanksgiving house. And sometimes they'll work together with team building skills together like that. The goal is your kids are not just sitting and playing video games. They need to be learning something. And like I said, if you have a child with special needs and like they need to focus more on the hand-eye coordination, and Mario Kart's way to do it, great. But what I'm saying is, like, for me personally, when I'm looking at letting them do video games for that, it needs to be something where they actually, or I can say, this is a specific skill set. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys were able to take something out of this, especially like with holidays coming up. I usually do a how to avoid burnout during the holidays video, and this kind of felt a little early, but also like our family's already planning for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's mid-October, so I figured other people may be as well. And also like our family just went through sickness, and I love talking more about where we actually are, to kind of like implement both the vlogging aspect and also like the teaching aspect for the homeschool videos and for the Worship Wednesday videos. So like I kind of want to like talk to you guys like real life. This is where we are. Our kids were sick, or like everybody in our house was sick for a week. So like these are things that we did to get through that sickness time, but still be doing school at the same time, because we still have to report those attendance days later on. Are we going to fall a little bit behind probably on the math schedule? Probably, but technically you don't have to finish your math curriculum. It's not really designed to be finished. It's designed to be done. And wherever you pick back up, that's fine. Just don't stress it whenever you get there. Find those things to do on the sick days to get you through, and then just keep going afterwards. Pick it back up, keep going whenever you're done. There is a fly flying around my head. 4 things I want to tell you guys before I finish. Number 1, Jesus loves you. Number 2, thank you to all my members for supporting this content, allowing us to continue keeping these videos free to the public. Number 3, thank you for liking, watching, positive comments, and subscribing, because that also helps to keep our videos free. And number 4, we hope to see you next time.